So they're not more
Really?
powerful in the military.
They're telling
not.
you that.
But they're their own military. They're their own government. So they exist. You need to think of them as a level of government, maybe right under the Mexican military, based out of Mexico City. You have
But
to look
they do
at
pay off people within there sometimes,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. But it's the heat's coming down, so they've had to be incredibly. They've blended in. They've pulled back and just blended in with the populace.
Yeah.
Like I know you see a lot of when you Google Nuevo Jalisco Cartel, all these masked guys come up. They're in the interior where no white person has ever or will ever go, including myself, right? In the cities, in Guadalajara, in Puerto Vallarta, in certainly Mexico City, even in Tijuana, nobody is even allowed to have any branding that says Nuevo Jalisco Cartel, or you're given the tabla. They will beat the shit out of you. You know what the tabla is?
No.
They take a wooden mallet. You were in a frat, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah? Were you really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how you get your ass spanked?
No.
Okay.
We never did that.
Okay. All right, so it's like, think about Animal House, where Kevin Bacon's getting his ass spanked. Thank you, sir, may I have another? It's that, but you're screaming in pain. That's what the la tabla is. They put holes in it to get rid of any air resistance, and it rips the skin off your ass too. So they'll beat the shit out of you, spank your bare ass. That's like punishment within the groups for fucking up. So anyways, that's how they keep people in line. And then the next step is you get killed. But my point is, no more. You're not going to see it in any city in Mexico. You're not going to see armed convoys with a bunch of fucking 20-year-olds with Kalashnikovs in the back of a Nissan truck. Those days are over because they need to be more subtle.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they seem so brazen in everything they do.
Yes.
But they're worried about window dressing sometimes.
I've seen some people come on your show with some opinions about Mexico, and they're mostly wrong. If it's not from Ed Calderon or myself, it's probably political propaganda.
You think so?
I know so. And I generally never say I know so, but I've been to Mexico so many times, just through the course of doing this show, talked to people who lived it, fought against it, were affected by it, that I'm like an amateur expert on this shit. Mexico's incredibly safe. Puerto Vallarta, Mexico City,
Really?
Tijuana. Yes, it's incredibly safe. I saw some dum-dum you had on here the other day. He's from Jersey. Big surprise. Yeah, he's from. I think he's from Philly, actually.
I love
A real brain trust, as my father used to say. Yeah, this fucking guy's not splitting the atom, dude. He sounds like everything he says. He sounds like he should be ordering a bacon, egg, and cheese. This fucking Jadrul, this fucking numbnuts.
I love Nadu. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, good guy. Whatever. We all love him. Hey, we wish him well. But he was like, I wouldn't go to Mexico for any reason. That's what he says. I wouldn't go to Mexico for any reason. Oh, really? Oh, you're so special? You think they're just waiting for you? You think a multi-billion-dollar organization is lying in wait for a guy who does a podcast? You have no respect for Mexicans, do you?
Hold on. In all seriousness, he wasn't saying for himself because of what he does. He was saying
can't
like
afford it.
He He's just catching so many fucking side swipes. God damn it. Well, you are a comedian. You're allowed to.
Yeah,
What he was saying is that in general, like him or anyone he knows or whatever, he's like, there's 200 other countries to go to in the world I'd feel better about going to. And I think what he's referring to is, again, and maybe some of these are more anecdotal than we give it credit. You would know better. But you see videos like, the one where the two guys are like in the car and they get pulled over by the cartel outside of Cancun and they're shitting righteously.
That was actually, do you know what that was? That was not a cartel. That was a vigilante group who was there policing against cartels.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't
They will
the cartel.
certainly, if they get enough power, they will become the cartel. But for now, they're the good guys. They will. Well, that happened in Michoacan. Did you see Cartel Land? The best documentary they've ever done on cartels in Mexico.
I don't think so.
It's
No.
in Michoacan. Hot zone, by the way. Fucking.
Can we put that up on a map? How do you spell that?
Michoacan. M-I-C-H. Wacan. O-A-C-A-N, I think. Michoacan.
Okay.
But there was such a violent criminal presence there that these guys, the Knights Templar, I think they called themselves.
The Knights Templar.
Exactly. So a vigilante group sprung up to basically autodefensa, a self-defense group sprung up because the government wasn't doing anything to help them, right? So they were like, we have to help ourselves. They ended up basically taking the power back and becoming drug traffickers.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, they saw the money in
they
it.
They became the government. They literally, the government in Mexico City granted them, they became their own police force, and they were like, okay.
What's the old line?
All right, come on now,
What's
dude.
the old Harvey Dent line? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Right. And it's exactly what happened. So, anyways, yeah, that's Michoacan right there. So that is a Michoacan, Zacatecas, parts of Sinaloa. Those are where open convoys of sicarios, that's where you will see them running around. That's where you see armed tanks, cartel tanks, fighting each other like they're in Iraq.
Oh, it's crazy.
That's where those states, that does exist still, right? And those aren't the cities, though, right? These are very, very rural areas, high into the mountains, where they have armies of sentries guarding every single dusty road that goes up these places. Right. They could see the government coming.
They got drones and everything.
Exactly. It's impassable. And it's places where most Mexicans would never go to, much less tourists, right? Much less, any kind of Americans. Also in the south, if you'll see places in Oaxaca, right along the border with Guatemala. I think that's Yucatan or Oaxaca.
What's the name
Chiapas.
of the pass down there? The fucking...
Yeah, the Darien Gap.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the Darien Gap is what separates Panama from Colombia.
Right.
That's the route though that migrants were coming up, and so now indigenous groups down there have formed their own cartels, like where Spanish is their second language. That's really hot too, that area. But look,
like fucking apocalypto.
But from fucking Tijuana, Juarez is cleaned up. Ciudad Juarez, where they used to hang people from bridges.
So you say it's cleaned up?
The cities have cleaned up, dude. There's too much technology. There's too many gringos moving there. There's too much development. There's too much foreign capital coming in. Like, Mexico is all about appearances. We can't have you operating like this, guys. Hey, we know what you're up to. Thank you for paying us. We'll still be in on the game, but you got to make this shit safe. You got to make this shit look like the good guys are winning.
Keep the 5% over 100%, there, and the 95 needs to look good.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.